It's been a minute. So you probably clicked on this video because you're asking yourself the same question. Do I need hearing aids? If you have that question, the answer is probably a maybe. Hearing aids definitely aren't for everyone. What I want to talk about in this video is my own experience needing hearing aids and as well getting them myself. Growing up, I had a lot of surgeries on my ears, and it started when I was about 6 years old. I had very severe ear infections, to the point that sometimes I had not only fluid coming out of my ears, but I also had blood coming out of my ears as well. And it was really bad. So I went and saw a specialist, and the first surgery that was ever done on my ears, he put what are called tubes in my ears, pretty much just round little plastic things that make holes in your ears to allow drainage of fluid so it doesn't build up and you do not have ear infections. Well, as I got older, I want to say about a year or so after I got them, they fell out because I'm growing, my ears are changing, my ears are getting bigger, and the holes are supposed to close up on their own. Problem is, they didn't. So that started a long line of me constantly getting surgeries done on my ears. So what they would essentially do is they couldn't do both at the same time, so they would have to rotate them because both ears did not heal. They would have to literally cut from one side of my ear, one part of my ear, all the way up, and then lay my ear flat so they could work on the inside of my ear and my eardrum so they could patch the holes. Well, those patches did not seem to work. They always seemed to be rejected, or it was because I kept getting older and my ears kept changing shape. My eardrums kept getting bigger, so they kept falling out. So we rotated this like up until the point I was like 17. But because of that, I have a lot of scar tissue on my eardrums. And that really didn't affect my hearing up until about 3 years ago now. I started noticing I was losing less and less volume, mainly in my left ear. My left ear has always been the quieter of the two, even before the really rapid degeneration happened. And I just kind of went with it because this was my better ear. I could hear it perfectly fine out of this ear. But then as the years went on, like I said, about 3 years ago, I started noticing both of them started getting affected, to the point that about a year ago, my wife is, complaining that I can't hear her very well. And it's only conversations and people talking that I have issues hearing. Random sounds like this, I hear just fine. No problem. I can hear it out of both ears. And I don't have one of my hearing aids in it because right now I'm battling another ear infection. I need to actually go see my specialist to see what's going on with that. But I can hear this just fine, even without a hearing aid in this ear. And I have one in this ear, and I'm going to get to them in a second because it's not a sponsorship. But getting hearing aids nowadays are not that expensive. So I decided to finally get hearing aids. I want to say now 4 months ago, I decided to finally get hearing aids because I was on the fence as well. There's a part of me that was afraid of feeling old because the fact that I'm 27, I was 26 then, 27, getting hearing aids to help myself hear. And I will tell you first and foremost, do not worry about feeling old. Because the moment you actually use a set of hearing aids, you're never going to look back because you want to hear normally. You want your life to go back to normal. You want to stop talking to your spouse or your significant other. Huh? What? Can you repeat that? If you have trouble hearing at all, you're going to be used to saying that. And your spouse or wife, significant other, whoever, is going to get fucking annoyed. Because it will happen. And I know they will understand. It's like, hey, he can't hear very well. But it's constantly. Especially if you have younger kids or you need to wake up, say, for work. Eventually you're going to have trouble hearing your alarm and you're going to have to turn it louder and louder and louder. Eventually you're going to be like your mother, like everything's full blast, ear-piercing sounds, just so you get notified of something happening. So get over that feeling of feeling old, because the second you start using them, that is going to go away because you want to go back to being normal in some way. Now, hearing aids used to cost a lot of money. You would have to go to an audiologist. You would have to get them tuned. You would have to get them fitted, depending on the type of hearing aid that you get, for whatever hearing loss that you have. You could be like me, I just have high frequency hearing loss. Like I said, I can hear sounds just fine. But voices are what I struggle with, or picking out voices compared to other background noise. So you would have to probably get scheduled to an audiologist, get tuned, and you'd have to pay maybe somewhere of like $1,000, $2,000 for hearing aids. But that's no longer the case. Back in October of 2022, around the time I was thinking of getting hearing aids, they passed a law. I went ahead and looked this up to make sure I was saying it right. So yeah, back in August or October of 2022, they had a final rule to approve access to hearing aids that could be lower cost compared to ones that are provided by audiologists. It is just for over-the-counter hearing aids. Most of them are amplifiers, essentially. They just amplify the sound for you. But that was made so hearing aids are more affordable to everyone. So instead of paying $2,000, you can pay what I'm about to tell you what I paid for my hearing aids. And again, this is not a sponsor for them. I just did my research. I wanted to get a pair of hearing aids that were not too expensive, and I knew that I could actually use, and it wouldn't be, garbage. So the hearing aids that I ended up getting is these ones right here. These are called the Audion hearing aids, specifically the Atom version. At retail, these cost $100. Half the time, though, they do have promos, so you can usually get promotions costing them like 20% off, 30% off, 40% off, which is what I paid. Because I was on the fence, I was looking around at different hearing aids, and I went ahead and put this in my cart, and I got all the way to checkout, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to think about it a little bit longer. And the next day, I had an email from the company telling me, it's like, hey, we noticed you haven't checked out yet. Here's a 40% off coupon. And that's how it worked. So instead of paying $100, I paid like $55. And when these came in, like I said, I have not looked back. And they're pretty small. You're going to have to forgive me. It's not usually going to be painful when you take them out, but I'm dealing with an ear infection right now. But as you can see, these things are like super tiny. They're about the size of a dime. And like I said, I have never looked back after getting these things. They do take some time to get used to. Your first day or so of wearing them, you'll probably feel just fine if you usually wear earbuds. However, you are going to take some time to get used to them. Usually it takes about a week or two to get used to wearing hearing aids, because especially if you have like pretty bad hearing loss or not a lot of volume, it's going to sound weird because you're going to start hearing your voice again. Instead of the voice that's inside your head, you're actually going to be hearing it through these. And it takes some time to get used to if you're not used to hearing your own voice. Me, of course, I make YouTube videos. I'm used to hearing my voice all the time. And your ears are going to be sore because you're going to be wearing these to the point you're going to be wearing these about 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours a day, maybe more. So your ears are going to get sore, and you want to make sure you actually fit these in properly, because what will happen, you have a little ridge right here. Mine's very defined. You have this little ridge right here. If you just set the hearing aids on those, they're going to get very raw, very sore, and it will probably scab over. And it's going to be painful. If you have narrow ear canals, you're going to be sore in there because you have to get used to wearing them constantly, and it's going to suck. That first day or two, you're going to be so happy that you can hear everything, but then you're going to hate it because you have to put them in and everything hurts. But I tell you, it's kind of like getting a tooth pulled. It eventually gets better. You just got to keep, living with it, and eventually things will turn around. But at the end of the day, you can hear things properly. So, in closing, if you're concerned about getting hearing aids, just give them a go. Lots of over-the-counter type hearing aids usually have a 30-day money-back guarantee, typically, unless they're like a weird company that won't let you do it. But from my own experience, I'm never looking back without hearing aids. And you shouldn't either. So give them a look. Look around for them. You don't have to get exactly the ones that I did. I do extremely recommend them, though. And again, I'm not sponsored by Audien at all. I would have actually got like 2 other different pairs of hearing aids, but these are the ones that honestly won me over. I even have a second pair of these because since our son was born, I always try and keep one in at all times so I can actually hear him if he wakes up. You don't have to do that. I don't recommend doing that 100% of the time because you may be more liable to an ear infection like I am. However, I'm already prone to ear infections, where I had a ruptured eardrum not too long ago. It re-ruptured, and then I had an ear infection. And then this one got an ear infection because, I'm wearing hearing aids. Everything's closed in. It's going to happen. But, yeah. If you did find this informative, if you did find it helpful to take that plunge, like I said, look around, do your research. Just give hearing aids a try if you think you need to. Don't worry about feeling old. I was 26 when I got mine. You're going to not think about it once you actually use them. So thank you all for watching. Again, if you did enjoy the video or you have anything to talk about, just leave it down in the comments section below. And as always, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take it easy.